listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text our show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Morning, Frank.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning, everyone.
Morning, Jim. Morning, Peter.
Morning, Richie.
So, hello.
Hello.
How is everyone?
I actually enjoyed a football match involving a British team last night.
Yeah. Good,
it was spectacular, wasn't it?
I don't do that very often, I must say. Absolutely amazing. What a week
really
I've had
good.
on the entertainment front.
I saw...
Including Brexit in that?
No, that was last week, officially.
Fair enough.
I saw a tribute band on Sunday, just playing in the street. We had a bit of a local street festival type thing, you know, when they close off the street for traffic, and there are stalls,
did you?
balloons.
Were there people in high-vis tabards? Because I take it seriously when there are.
There was an element of high-vis going on, but there was, stalls advertising, there was a bit of local bread making.
Jam? Chutneys?
I think, no, it wasn't that. Women's Institute.
They weren't there.
They had a stage, and somebody said, we were given the programme, and it said 16:15, not the Rolling Stones.
Oh.
Now, I've always thought the joy of being in a tribute band is you come up with some wacky pun.
Come up with especially with Stones. But the possibilities are endless.
Not the Rolling Stones. I like that it's sort of just thinking that that's such a plus point. But it's not. It's not the real ones. But that'll be enough.
What would you have gone?
You could read that programme and think it's any band other than the Rolling Stones.
Exactly. It could have been
it might be Oasis.
Yeah. It's the worst PR man of all time.
I'd have gone Stepping Stones, suggesting they're not quite the Stones.
Oh, I see.
You like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There is a tribute band to the Stones called something like the Rolling Bones, but again, I don't see any suggestion that they're an imitation of any...
There's something...
What about Rolling Drones?
Rolling Drones?
Clones, the Rolling Clones.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a good...
Yeah.
There probably is one. Anyway.
Sounds a bit like clowns. And they give me the creeps. Anyway.
Yes. It's funny, I've always liked... people say that about clowns. I've always
you like them, don't you?
I'd like that man to come and live in my spare room.
Well, I would if
the circus.
I would if it was a Northampton clown, Ovs.
Yeah. But yeah, I always think, imagine his car outside my house with the doors. Every morning you get up, the doors are just lying on the
what
pavement.
A racket, though, when the
I could live with it.
Yeah.
So, they were brilliant, not the Rolling Stones.
Oh, were they?
Absolutely astonishing.
Really?
I was taken aback by it, because, you think tribute bands... I don't remember the last time I've enjoyed a gig so much. It was great.
Oh, really?
Well, they're so obedient, tribute bands.
Oh, they do the classics, like they
they
give them what they want.
They just give you exactly what you... And they sound like the records.
And every
exactly
new one.
what you want.
That's exactly... There's no live messing around.
You don't have to do that terrible deal that you have to do with bands. We'll give you 3 or 4 of the songs you want to hear. We might mess about with them a bit, but mainly we're going to play stuff you don't actually want to hear, even though you've paid.
And here's Ronnie Wood's Jazz Odyssey. That's what you generally have. That's the tax you pay.
Exactly, but this was... No, we're going to actually... And we hadn't paid.
Wow.
We're just going to give you what you want if you actually saw the Rolling Stones. And I'm starting to think now, maybe I'll stop watching the real bands altogether.
Well, that's my worry. Like, if that's for free, that could undercut the Rolling Stones' revenue stream quite...
Well, I saw the Rolling Stones a few years ago, and the tribute band was considerably better.
Frank!
I'm sorry.
Great review.
Absolute Radio!
Great review. I saw 2 years ago.
I'm not saying I'll be playing them over the Stones. That would be ridiculous.
No, you're absolutely right. Put
But,
on that song that man in the attic made with the guitar.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I think you might have opened up the floodgates of alternative band names.
Oh no, have I?
8, 12, 15. That's not one of them. Morning all. A few months ago I saw the Cast Off Kinks, that's with a K, Cast.
Oh, okay.
Great name, and the band also included some original members, so that would...
Whoa, no, you can't.
And it says, no Ray Davies, but still a great night out. Check them out.
Peter Quaife.
Frank.
That's not a tribute band, that's just live.
Mick Avery.
It doesn't go into details, Adam.
Okay.
Chingford, don't know if that's a surname or
I used
place.
to I was
Sorry, who are
obsessed
these
with the
people?
Kinks.
Sound like people I went to school with.
He says check them out. He said you should check them out.
I kept an empty light ale bottle that Ray Davies had handed me from the stage at Birmingham Town Hall for some 25 years, and then I lost it in a move.
Oh.
I think it was dropped by one of the removal men.
Sad story.
We've had another one from MK Knight, the Rolling Phones, she's suggesting, spelt F-A-U-X hyphen N-E-S.
Yes, that's good. That's good, because it's got faux in it.
Oh, right.
Do you understand?
I think so.
Did I tell you I saw one advertised called Shania Twin?
I like that.
That's Apex's sister.
Yes. What, the Cornwall Kraftwerk?
Phil says we saw Noasis a couple of weeks ago, and they did exactly the same. All the classics.
Yeah.
They even behaved like them.
Much
Brilliant.
I'll tell you what, they were setting up on stage, and I was standing next to a friend of mine, and we were trying to work out what period they were, because the Stones obviously have been around for a long time. They're quite distinct looks. So Keith was Keith, as they call him. He was modern day Keith, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Those are the Pirates of the Caribbean, Keith.
Exactly, yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean with heavy flu.
Yeah.
Right.
That kind of look. So he was that. And then there was Mick Taylor, lead guitarist who replaced Brian Jones. From about 1970, he was.
Oh, okay.
And then there was someone on keyboard who could have been Ronnie Wood, but was on keyboard, which is very confusing. But no Mick Jagger. And we thought they're making a big mistake here, because they're holding back the Mick Jagger. So when he comes out, he better be good, because they're making it a bit of an event while they were setting up their guitar. Remember, this is in the street on the stage. Anyway, Mick Jagger comes out, absolutely excellent look-alike and sound-alike, and dressed at 1981 tour, I would say.
So they've got all
silk
the decades.
shirts.
Yeah, it was that sort of weird medieval, very tight trousers where, you know, very, not exposing exactly.
It doesn't leave much to the imagination. I know what you mean,
No,
Frank.
it doesn't leave much to,
and,
even to Walt Disney.
Can I say well done on your sartorial choice, Mick?
Yes, but it was... And he came out and said, let's enjoy this Independence Day gig, which was a bad thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And there's obviously a few Remain voters there, because there's a few boos went up. And I remember thinking, yeah, it's all right for you, tax exile. And then I thought, I'm getting a bit too far into the whole tribute thing. But honestly, I mean, I don't want them to write to me and say, can you manage our careers? But if ever they're playing, they were absolutely magnificent. I'd forgotten that we have to do that deal with bands to play stuff we like that they.
Why do we?
Done.
We should just
What
rebel.
do they do? As a friend of mine once heard an actress say to a makeup woman, "Just do your job." That should be the chant at gigs.
Frank Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
The Rolling Phonies.
Good.
Troy has suggested, yeah.
I think we might have stumbled on an answer to an email that I found in my Friday night troll here.
Oh, FNT. FNT, FNT, a sausage in a roll and a box for me. Doesn't quite work, does it?
Oh, I quite like it.
Dan has
All got a bit Love
emailed.
Island.
Dan?
Dan has emailed. It says, "Dear Alan Frank, dear Alan."
Is it Dan Ashworth looking for work?
No.
Okay.
Who's Dan Ashworth?
He's a senior man at the FA.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Topical. Dear Alan, Emily, and Frank, in no particular order, I have something of a conundrum.
I can't do that. I'm a Catholic.
Oh, very good. To pay my way through uni, I deliver pizza for Domino's in Whitstable, one of your stomping grounds, I've heard, Frank.
Yes, if you can park.
Oh, we probably...
I say, if you can park.
That's a lovely bit of local material there.
He probably does have to park, because he's in a car for Domino's.
Or is he in a car? Is he in one of the... You know those bikes, you see?
No, because he's titled the email "Free Time in the Car," so I've already pictured him in the car.
You never
I'm
told.
afraid.
I kept that to yourself.
Sorry about
I've never had a pizza delivery man in a car.
Well, here he is.
Who am I kidding? I've never had a pizza delivery man. I've never had a pizza.
Is that one of the
yummy. You should really try them.
Boxes of males in the population? It's odd because they get a lot of action.
Lucky email for Dan.
They get a lot of action in the films I've seen. Pizza delivery man. Must the very, very big pizzas in Whitstable. That's why they have to be delivered by four-wheeled vehicles.
He says, as a result...
I've seen them rolled. I've seen blokes on scooters with the pizzas rolled, like Carpe over the show.
Oh, have you? Oh, yeah.
Nice. As a result, I spend a lot of time in the car, and I'm wondering, what can I do in all this downtime that is worthwhile while still being safe? I hate wasting time and wonder if the gang has any interesting ideas. Praise redacted, Dan. So essentially... He wants something that he can do in the car whilst not delivering pizzas that isn't going to be dangerous.
Listen to a lovely audiobook.
I was thinking he could invent names for tribute shows.
What about reading?
Yes.
I know there are people all over England Googling that at the moment.
Reading,
it's that.
Yeah, Reading's going to get a lot of hits on Wikipedia, isn't it now?
In London, I find that if you get a professional driver... certainly the English ones, that if you go to the car, they're usually reading a true crime paperback.
Yeah.
Something like Mad Frankie Fraser or something like that.
Yeah. There's always some big sword on the front of
big
these
sword?
books. I call them books with swords on the front.
Yeah. There's those books.
The samurai swords.
Yeah, there's those sort of fantasy books with the swords on as well. But yeah, often it'll be something about an East End mobster.
I would recommend a chess app.
Chess app?
Yeah.
Well, if you got a phone, I mean...
Yeah.
What about Domino's?
He's delivering for Domino's.
No, I know. But then what I'm saying is if one of the managers went past and said, shouldn't you be delivering? You should say, well, I'm not actually delivering, but I'm still sort of on theme, if you know what I mean.
Everything has to be Fats Domino he listens to. Everything has to be Domino themed.
That'd be great. Fats Domino on the thing. Ain't there a shame? And him going 666. Let me see. That's 8 points. Yeah, why not? I think audiobooks is a good call.
That is a good call.
So do I.
I'm currently listening to on audio 24 half-hour lectures on the Old Testament, which I would recommend.
Well, I've got a lovely one on the go, Emma Klein, The Girls. And then I saw David Baddiel say it was one of the greatest books he'd read. And he should know.
And he's not easy with praise.
No.
Take it from me.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, I'll tell you what, on our regular feature, when I look back and say... You never see those anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is now becoming a regular feature rather than just a thing you do.
Yeah.
I'm calling it.
You're embracing it.
I've got a jingle for it.
Take ownership
let's
of it.
hear.
Whatever happened to...
So, this week, Love Bites.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I loved a Love Bite, Frank.
I never see them anymore.
No, you don't. Don't
I've got
get
two young women in the room here.
Where's this going to go?
you?
Okay, can you just take the tapes off their mouths so they can speak? Just for a second. So, have either of you two ever had a love bite? Oh, sorry, I don't. I mean, the trouble with them nowadays, you see, this is
All
the
right,
trouble.
Chris Evans.
There's so much on the social network, they can't have a face-to-face conversation.
Toothpaste was the removal tip, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
I was a big Love Bite sporter, I won't lie.
Really? Well, you've got a Love Bite jumper on today.
Yeah.
I've got the polo net. I was a Love Island contestant of my time. No, I did have the odd
Please
Love Bite.
don't say that.
No, but Frank, there was a real badge of honour to wear the scarf in the summer. I can't take it off.
I wonder if some people wore the scarf and there was no Love Bite underneath.
Not me.
No, I can believe. I remember I was on a bus once at Corporation Street in Birmingham, and this woman was struggling to get on with a pushchair, and she had a very low cut top on. She looked, I'll be honest, she looked common, And she had...
Imagine if I said that.
and
Can
on
we just,
both...
that's the trailer for next week's show
I could
sorted.
never say that.
I haven't finished it. On her bust, on each individual bust, she had a love bite.
Hang on, she had
quite
an
low
individual
down.
bust?
She had on each one a love bite. And
It's a
she
horrible story.
She got onto the platform of the bus, and her mate said, "Right, you're all right now, Ursula." And I compared her to when Ursula Andress rose from the sea in Doctor No, and I thought, my goodness me, how difference between art and life. But yeah, so she weren't even on the neck. She'd gone exploring, or someone had.
Oh, someone had taken a very strange turn.
I don't think they would have been self-inflicted.
Well, it's a very interesting idea. I'm just doing the logistics in my mind. It may have been possible.
You haven't described the physique that in detail.
But that's a very interesting 8, 12, 15 Ursula, if you're listening.
Is she still going to be around? Let's be honest.
I always thought they were for people who couldn't afford engagement rings.
Good point.
That's another sign of ownership, but cheaper. Because they are a mark of ownership, and also the joy of being owned, I suppose. Well, not being owned, but by having somebody, not being lonely.
Well, I think it's also look how grown up I am.
Yeah, but it's also I'm not lonely, which is what, we spend a lot of our lives saying to people.
Someone bites me.
Someone bites me is another good thing. What I'd like to know about this 8, 12, 15, why in America are they called hickeys?
Oh, yeah.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Got some lovely love bite stories, haven't we, Al?
Haven't we? We've actually been looking in the wrong place, according to Jane in Warwickshire. Watch Jeremy Kyle.
Oh, God, I wonder what you're going to say there. Well, where do people get love bites now?
No, not geography on their body. I
Okay.
mean, she says, watch Jeremy Kyle, the love bite is alive and well.
Is that right? I'm going to do that.
Bit of nostalgia.
I haven't watched Jeremy Kyle for ages. I always think it's
Well, it's because you got a job, darling.
it's the television equivalent of the cell door peephole.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can walk in, it's safe. You can walk in and think, oh, God,
Yeah.
look at that. But love bites, I'm going to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Is it on catch-up, Jeremy Kyle?
I don't know, but I imagine so.
What, Jeremy Kyle?
The answer
Yeah.
to everything's yes.
Yeah, I'm
isn't it?
sure it will be. Everything's on catch-up these
Everything,
days.
yeah.
You should know you've got a catch-up show.
Yeah.
What, you mean Frank Skinner on demand on exclusively
Someone
on
might
BBC
come
iPlayer?
in and choose Jeremy Kyle as a clip.
No, we only do the BBC programmes, darling.
Okay.
Good point. Steve Ronson from Cambridge has said, Frank Skinner, morning Frank and team. Interesting beginning, Frank
Yeah.
Skinner. Morning Frank and team. On
I
the
like
subject,
a topic heading, though.
Yeah.
On the subject of love bites, I did my own as a lonely teen. It always happened when I went on summer holidays to make out to my friends that it was a holiday romance when it was me pinching my neck.
Oh.
And then he goes to block caps. I know, very sad, my teen life.
Oh, all right.
That's Steve Ronson. Steve Ronson from
Steve
Cambridge.
Ronson. Want to make a note of?
For any friends of Steve Ronson in Cambridge, there you go.
They're not actually bites, are they? Am I right?
What do you mean?
You
Well,
don't
they're
actually
bruises.
bite the yeah, but love bruises.
Do you know how to
Well,
give
it's
them?
called- love bruises is what they should be called.
Yes,
but there's
they
some-
should.
Again, a fabulous band name.
Well, teeth are involved.
Yeah, there are sort
Are
of
they?
They're
I'm
a
going to be
bitey,
honest, I don't
Can
know
you
how
not
to
give
do
one?
one.
a nibble.
I've
like
never
a-
had
like a-
one, and I don't think I've ever given one. I didn't
Oh,
have.
I've had a few.
I didn't have much.
Play a long
close
record
contact.
and we'll come back and see what...
No, I'm not going to show you, Frank.
I presume they've gone now.
Can you
have they?
imagine if you walk down the street with love bites? I mean, how embarrassing.
Well, maybe I could bring them back. You go
No,
on.
people would just think you'd had one of your
I'll tell you what would be
Frank.
great.
That's what they think.
Occasionally I get asked to do question time. Imagine going on there with 2 or 3 love bites and not referring to the makeup woman. No, just leave them alone, thank you.
I'm just as God made me.
Or you could wear the scarf and then take it off halfway
Nice.
through the show.
Quite man of the people.
I'd happily go on there in one of those old chiffon Apache scarves that they wore in the 70s with
Lovely.
the gold, the mock gold ring.
Do you think that's why they wore them?
Yes.
Yeah, Tony Hart, remember him from, I'm
Yeah.
sorry kids, but Tony Hart used to do an art show.
He was
Do you think he
connected
had
with
love
Morph.
bites?
You might have heard of Morph.
Nobody loved an Apache scarf.
Do you think that was why? Do you think
do
he
you
was sporting a love bite under it?
I hope so. otherwise...
Yeah, 70s creative types. All my
Yes.
parents' friends had those scarves.
He's the sort I could imagine him crying in a flat. So I'm hoping that he did have love bites and that is not correct. Tony Hart. You know that bloke, if you was describing him, it always looked like he maybe cried in a flat on a regular basis.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had a text that I think is a suggestion for a tribute band, but it contains no other words other than this. Michael Bublé.
That's good.
That is
That's good.
But no explanation.
I'm happy.
Like that a lot.
And one of our Twitter friends, Tender Comrade, says about love bites, they're called Nutschflecken in German,
Nutschflecken.
which means snog stains.
That's good. That's excellent work.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
They're very good at those compound words, the Germans. I'm sorry we've turned our back on them.
Don't mention the Germans. Look what we've done.
And Tom Beckett. Sorry, Frank. Tom Beckett.
Will no one rid me of this troublesome priest?
But what about the fabled love bite cure? Rub it with a penny or toothpaste. Of course, it didn't work. Tom Beckett
work.
genuinely is from Murder in the Cathedral times.
Well, I've heard, I mean,
Toothpaste was,
Alan just mentioned the toothpaste. I didn't know the penny one.
Never
By the way,
heard of
I've been
the penny
sent a coin today
Have you?
by Mike Lewis. Remember her?
Hi, Mike.
Did you do a very low-paid gig for Mike Lewis?
I did. You know, last time I met him, I was begging in Birmingham.
Oh, yeah.
And he did say he'd sort me out.
Post
Now,
it.
the other week we were talking about those coins that you get at landmarks.
Oh,
and you get a
yeah.
coin and they
Yes.
put it in a machine and sort of stamp it. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't...
Wasn't it only in America because they have a certain type of
No, I've
metal in their coin?
I think I've done it in the United Kingdom. But
Oh,
hey,
have you?
but you might be right because he was in Boston's South Station, and he got one. I don't know what it would be. Is that a cent? Is it a nickel? Or some kind of dime? Say, is it a dime? I don't know, but
It's a penny. They call it
I think
penny.
they do
don't
call
they?
it a penny, and it's got it's got a man on it, and I can't read his name. John Arbuthnot. I'm going to take that as I'm slightly guessing. It's a bit hard to read. We'll send a picture of it. Maybe anyone with good eyesight. Does that work? If I took a photo of this, if I took a photo with my eyes, would someone else be able to see it clearly, or would they see it the way I've seen it with my eyes?
With your eyes.
Extraordinary
Yeah.
question. What do you mean take a photo with your eyes?
Well, I'd be looking down the camera, so would it
Oh, I
still?
see.
Would it be would the photo be slightly blurry because it's slightly
No, I think
blurry
that's
from
your
me?
eyes.
You sure?
Yeah.
Even it's me looking down the camera, mind. Don't miss out on that fact.
More importantly,
Well,
with
it's a good question. Let's put it that way.
more importantly, with the recent collapse of sterling, I think he might have sent you something more valuable than he expected to. So
Yeah.
might be worth
well,
declaring
it doesn't matter anymore. It's all going to be. Soon it'll be like Ridley Walker, if anyone knows that novel. When we're all living in some post-nuclear whatever. Anyway.
Keep it cheery.
Hello, I'm James Martin. Let's talk about the end of the world.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane today. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
We've had, it's been a lot of changes this week, Frank. We've had 2 resignations. Well, firstly, we haven't discussed...
We've had more than that.
Well, we have more than that,
What
that's
about
true.
the Labour cabinet?
We've had about 150.
Yes.
However, we need to discuss, there was a biggie, which was Roy Hodgson
Yes.
after the England game.
He went quick.
Yeah.
Apparently he was, he must have been writing it in the tunnel.
I think.
Do you think he'd written it already?
I either have to explain that performance or resign. You know what? I think I'll resign.
Yeah, I agree. I
He
think that's
said-
exactly what happened.
These things happen. I mean, I'm not sure that's adequate, though.
I wish he'd have just said that and they're gone.
Well, he pretty much just said that.
These things happen. Whoops.
He quoted...
Right, sorry, it was... Well, anyway, gentlemen, thank you.
These things happen.
That seems to be it.
He quoted Hamlet, though.
Is he coming? I don't think he's coming back.
He quoted Hamlet. Which bit of Hamlet
Well, he
did
referred
quote?
to slings and arrows.
Oh, did
Respect, Frank.
He didn't
Respect.
say a man can smile and be a villain.
No, but it ain't that
I
the
actually
truth.
like Roy, but...
he? Yeah, I like Roy.
But, blimey. Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was so terrible. My mother became an Icelandic citizen the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, my mum's gone to Iceland.
Very good.
No,
What about Ian Wright? I mean, he said he spoke for all of us, I feel, when he said, that was embarrassing, man.
yeah. It was,
At one point, they asked Lee Dixon, who's normally a composed, controlled figure.
he is.
Yes.
And
Very meticulously neat hair.
Oh, lovely. They asked him at one point, and Mark Poopants said, what do you think?
Poopatch.
Yeah, Poopants. What do you think, Lee? And he went, I don't care. Oh.
Wow.
But it always goes... This does happen every 2 years. I mean, to be fair.
Yeah.
One of Roy's things was he said, that there had been achievements. It's when he took over, the average age was 30. And now they've got the youngest average age in the tournament. But I thought, you know what, I could do that.
Yeah.
That's maths. That's not football.
Also, technically speaking, they've now got the youngest average age out of the tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear. Anyway, it's not a football show, so we don't do
No.
that. But Roy's
No.
record, can I just say, is in the last tournament he was in, we were out after 2 games. And in this one, we absolutely struggled against some teams who were pretty terrible in the group. And then we lost to Iceland. So I'm
Why
wondering...
can't we play football, Frank? Why do we never win?
Is there such a thing, though, as a sarcastic knighthood? Wouldn't it be great to give him one of that? You know, when people win stuff, they get one. Oh, there should be something you could have, so you can be Sir Roy Hodgson, bracket, sarcastic.
Tsar. That's what they call you instead.
Yeah, Tsar. Sir
Roy
Roy
Hodgson.
Hodgson,
instead of
short for
OBE.
sarcastic.
Tsar. Nice.
I'd much prefer one of those.
Instead of Sir.
Yeah.
Get it? Sarcastic.
All right, yeah. fair enough.
Sarcastic, they call
Yeah.
it. Sarcastic Roy Hodgson. Oh, dear, poor Roy. Maybe he'll come back to West Brom where he belongs. Or in a tree in a forest where he hunts for mice at night. These are the 2 places I think he'd be most at home.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'm going to be honest, I feel partly responsible for England's exit from the tournament.
Do you?
Because I don't know if you
Why?
remember, just a week ago I was saying that my recent Google searches included how much is an Iceland away strip.
Oh.
Yes,
And
Alan.
I've been a fully paid up member of the Iceland fan club since they've been in this tournament. They're playing great, and I read a thing this week that apparently there is a shortage of Iceland football strips in Scotland, where many people are trying
really?
to buy them. Isn't that great?
Is that because
in
of
its,
your...
in its own little
Is that
way?
because of you, do you think?
I think so. I think a lot of the Scottish
I
see
think
me
Roy
as
has
sort
to
of a
take more of it.
trailblazer. And a terrible thing happened.
Yeah.
England scored.
Oh, we know that. Which one?
You know, they scored, and I said to my wife and son, I went, watch this now. They'll kick off and they'll score immediately and England will fall apart. And I was right.
Right, you're setting yourself up as some sort of Nostradamus.
I think so, yeah. So, anything else you want me to predict? 8, 12, 15, yeah?
I'd
Okay.
like to see some proof.
Who is going to be the next leader of the Conservative Party?
Roy Hodgson. Next.
No, genuinely, if you predict
That
this,
was
we'll
my-
start to believe you.
All right.
Don't you think, Frank?
The Conservative Party.
Yeah, you've
All right.
heard of them.
Probably not Roy Hodgson then.
No.
No.
They've all announced now, haven't they? I think
he's
Theresa
playing.
May. Theresa
He's
May.
playing for
But-
time.
Do you know Theresa May?
No, but thanks for the tip.
There you go. So,
And we're back. Do you know Michael
I
Gove?
love it. I
Doesn't
do
quite
know
work, does it?
Michael Gove. The Governor,
Is that the past tense?
as he calls himself.
Does he?
He will do. He will, Oscar, he will.
I remember Michael Gove when he was Walter in the Dennis the Menace.
Now, we need to put him on some sort of diet if he's going to be... Well, not diet. No, I know people say, oh, you shouldn't attack
Body
how he looks.
fascism
I'm
in the
not...
media.
It's not body fascism. What I'm saying is he's quite womanly.
Do you think?
Well, no, I
understand?
saw him on a train. Do you remember in corduroy trousers? And he got
He's bootylicious.
He had a behind like a pony. You can't lose that. You can't lose that with dieting. I think some people have, they have ample behinds or they don't.
Right. So what is?
No, but it's a positive on a woman, but on a man, not so much so.
Well, I think it's about time that
he through a stable door or something.
He popularised the booty call for male politicians. I remember
true.
Dr. David Owen had an enormous backside. It's all that sitting they do. That's why they
do a lot of sitting.
That's why they have to be voted into a seat. Most people, they needed quite a lot of assistance. No, what I like about Michael Gove is that he said that he wanted to come to a situation. He's now going for leader of the Conservative Party.
Yes.
He said that he voted out because he was sick of being told what to do by boring men in suits who come from a culture we don't understand. Isn't that what's going to happen if he becomes...
Did he say it's not my culture?
Yeah.
I wish he'd said that. I also don't like this thing of calling him a geek.
I don't think
He's not a geek.
You don't
Being
think he's a geek?
unpopular at school doesn't make you a geek. It just makes you
Being
unpopular.
glasses and all that stuff doesn't make you a geek. You have to at least one sci-fi franchise.
I think
and you
he
have to
might
know
be in
it
that.
inside out. He won't be
think
into
he
that.
might be.
He won't be into sci-fi. He probably reads.
And we tend to be into sci-fi.
What do you think he reads?
He doesn't read, does he?
I know.
No, he does read. I think he's.
But he's not.
literature guy.
I think
He'll read those novels with the sword on the front.
Geeks. No, he won't. He won't be.
All right.
He won't be unusual enough to read those.
What will he go for then, Frank?
He'll read
Well, let's-
stuff about Churchill. Is what he'll read.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's Bojo. Bojo wrote that stuff. He wrote a book about Churchill.
Well, that's why Bojo stood down, because he's got the book deadline. Some people do anything to get out of that deadline.
I'm not thinking that he might be posing as Angela Eagle.
Who?
Bojo, there is. Could it be? It just looks like it could. Hold on a minute. In a certain light, I think he's after the other leadership.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Ian Angel, regular texter, has texted without a pun. Newsflash.
Ian Angel, can you see me? Ian Angel, can you hear me? Are you somewhere up above? Sorry, that was it.
You all right?
Absolute Radio, where real music matters.
That's,
There's a song called Teen Angel, which is just...
Oh, is it? Absolute fun.
That's lovely for Ian Angel, though. If I was him, I'd have that as my ringtone now.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Teen Angel, there's a bit that goes, just sweet 16 and now you've gone.
Yeah,
They've
be careful
taken
about
you
this.
away. I'll never kiss those lips again. They
time to change,
buried
Frank.
you today.
How lovely. He texts, no pun, just a bit of trivia. Roy Hodgson was one of our teachers at Monks Hill in Croydon in the 70s.
I bet he was a good teacher.
I bet he was a good teacher. Wouldn't it be nice if they take that and think, let's appoint a teacher? Wouldn't it be good if they just appointed, not even a PE, like if they appointed my chemistry teacher from Murfield High School, Mr. Magnell. I don't even think he knows the rules of football.
No. Was he in...
Actually, it might not be better. You're looking at me now and thinking, that's not a good idea, is it?
No.
Was he in Neighbours, Mr. Magnell?
Oh. No, a different Mr. Magnell.
Oh, no, that was Mrs. Mangle.
Yeah, Mrs. Mangle.
Sorry, again, I'll kill that typist.
That was a great comic character. Would have been a nice part for me, that. Never mind.
I didn't know Roy was a teacher.
That's what this
There's something...
text claims.
Yes, I can see that.
I wonder if he moved them from out of where they usually sat and made them sit somewhere else where they felt a bit less comfortable and couldn't contribute as much.
He ended the press conference by saying, he went, Elvis, you can't end a press conference with thank you very much.
Is that what he did? Very much.
Yeah. He said, thank you very much.
He didn't say, people have been saying I've been strung out. I've never been strung out in my life except on music.
Frank, that's excellent. Oh,
Very good.
Frank,
Too
what a lovely-
late now to master the...
Good luck cashing in on that impression.
How's your Glenn Hoddle?
do you think he'll be next?
Oh, I don't know. I know what Gary Lineker thinks, but I'm not at liberty to say.
Oh. So it's a pterodactyl trying to... I haven't seen one for ages.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Okay, so what we were talking about the whole... I have to say, I can never remember a more exciting week in politics in my entire life.
Yeah.
It's been like better than any American drama about politics.
And everyone's getting involved, and I like it. People care.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, especially like the sudden the Gove and Boris Johnson, like it was all this, like it was people saying it was like Shakespearean thing that had been
Oh, it was.
et tu Gove,
yes.
it said on the front of it.
Et tu Gove.
Fantastic. It's interesting that because Michael Gove says that it's important that the next leader of the Conservative Party must be someone who was pro-Brexit. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking maybe Jeremy Corbyn.
Yes.
Do they do transfers like that?
They do sometimes. Douglas Cardwell went
People
from
cross the house.
Tories to UKIP, didn't he? So
Yes.
it does happen.
Churchill crossed the house several times, I
Did
think.
he?
Looking for drink in Commons. So he used to hide it away and then forget where it is.
He liked to drink.
Oh, he
didn't
loved the drink.
Yes. I know what you mean about the Shakespearean thing. I like something... Rhys Shearsmith, who was a friend of the show, who came on here once, made a comparison with Michael Gove being like Richard III.
Harsh.
He referred to his coy reluctance when he was accepting the job.
Richard III had a delicate little bottom, like a peach.
First review ever of Richard III's bottom.
Nothing grows in the
focused.
shade.
People focused on other body parts for that guy, didn't they? But
Exactly, that
the
was it.
unsung hero of his anatomy.
Yeah, he was like...
But I know what he means. I didn't like it. I didn't like the faux sort of humility. I found that creepy.
Who's human?
Michael Gove.
I can't do it. Oh, okay. I'll have a go.
Oh, go on then. I think that's worse. Give me a braggart over a coward. Yes, give me a
you
braggart.
reckon?
Yeah,
But to be
cowardice is the worst.
But to be fair to Michael Gove, he's taken all the criticism on the chin, which is not easy if you don't have one. He's sort of... Because sometimes with Cameron, very, very occasionally, I think, he's sort of has a bit of the statesman thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe he does care a little bit. I used to have those little flashes. But if you want someone to be... the head of the Conservative Party. And I know we have Conservatives listening, and I respect your different opinions, but Michael Gove is sort of absolutely perfect.
He's kind of timeless, isn't he, in that way? Like, he could... If he'd existed 200 years ago,
he
would have...
he isn't, because I think
doing
this is the revenge of the unpopular kid at school. Fair enough.
Exactly.
It's true. It's the one that didn't have any friends but was very good in class, and now he's,
No, there is
having a nice time. Enjoy your moment in the sun.
Yeah, I mean, if you've had your ear twisted for 15 years, maybe you are entitled to a bit of payback and a bit of good luck.
It's your little
Do you
moment.
think that's why? Do you think Boris had been twisting his ear for 15 years? Not directly
but
Boris.
If you had to allot the roles in school, I would say that Boris was more of an ear twister.
Yes.
And Gove was more of a twisted ear.
He was essentially one of us, Frank.
Who? Gove?
Take that
back.
Frank and I were the ear twisters.
Right.
Yes, I'm ashamed of that, but it is true. If we'd have had old Gove in our class, he'd have had a terrible time. I'll tell you.
In other news, Stephen Bigser says, what's happened to music? So there you go.
What's happened to music? Discuss. I don't know. I watched Glastonbury last week and thought exactly the same thing.
Oh.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I was sitting in the makeup chair this week with Estelle Horder, my makeup lady.
Oh, yeah.
Who was actually called Estelle Horder, not a pun.
Yeah.
And,
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. You should see her partner, Max Factor.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if he did or not, but that's what he claimed.
Yeah.
So anyway, she said to me, have you considered neck cream?
She didn't say that.
Because I'm getting the kind of neck that looks like the folded garment of a Roman soldier on an old statue. You know, that
Yes.
sort of...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't agree, but I get your imagery.
Yeah, or so maybe parchment.
Yeah.
And apparently, I didn't even know this. I look now to our fashion and beauty correspondent, Emily.
It's called neck wattle.
Neck wattle?
I believe so, FYI.
Neck wattle.
Yeah.
I like it even better now because it sounds horrible.
Sounds like one of the bands you might play on a Saturday morning, to be honest. We've got neck wattle with drowning.
Come here.
Well, isn't the wattle... Well, it's an Australian flower, isn't it, first of all? Isn't it the symbol of Australia? But
Correct.
What do they
neck
call
wattle
that thing?
/ turkey neck.
What's that thing that hangs under a chicken's...
Turkey neck.
So that is wattle.
Well, that's what we call it.
So neck wattle?
Yeah, neck wattle.
It sounds like you're trying to grow one of those rather than cure it.
No, we're always trying to cure it.
I've just
Listen, let me talk to you. You've made...
Simon Cowell.
Well, look.
Get rid of the parents.
Well, look. No, what happens, and I address you ladies, you're young, you still have everything to live for. People always overlook the neck area, I find, and not just when it comes to the love bites these days. It should be just as much a part of your cleansing routine as your face. So, put cream on, moisturise your neck.
Really?
Yeah, always.
Hang on, I'm just writing down face meant to be part of cleansing routine.
What I'm always thinking is then you're going to get, like, moisturiser all over your shirt collar, and I don't want that in my life. If anyone gave me a love bite now, they'd just inhale dust.
You might have
dryness.
You might have one in there for all we know.
It'd be like sucking the disappearing skin from a snake.
Moisturiser on your neck. I suspect that's not the most unhygienic thing that's ever happened in your bedroom.
No, well, that might be true. And it might, then again, it might not.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
No, but Frank, it will help. It's never too late.
It'd be great, I suppose, if I put it on. What I like about wearing neck cream is if I became the victim of vigilante justice, I might slip straight through the noose and be able to run away. That's worth thinking. Well, the way this country's going, it's worth considering.
It'd be a great story the next day. The creme de la mer saved your life.
Yeah, with me phoning some large French makeup company, saying, "Thank God for that throat neck." Guess what? Throat neck. Now I'm just saying random connect. I seem to have gone into Roger's thesaurus mode.
No, as Alan says, you're just naming all your favourite bands. Throat neck, or another one, Al, I believe, aren't they? What was their song, Al?
Why did I say throat neck? It's just a compound of two similar things.
Why not? Say it if you want.
I will say,
you
in your defence...
Thank you.
Well, wait, you haven't heard it yet.
I'm in anticipation.
You haven't heard it yet. You have marvellous skin.
Well,
one of the best skins I've ever encountered.
Thank you, but it seems to stop at the chin now.
It's okay. I'm not going below that,
good
darling.
Skin, or all
I don't want to go below that.
Maybe an Elizabethan ruff is the answer.
Yeah, or perhaps a neck brace, as if you've had a road traffic accident.
Yes.
Or
People won't know,
Alvy Tony Hart scarf
There you
that
go.
we were discussing earlier. You could bring that back.
There's all sorts of a mandarin collar like Elvis used to wear.
Well, Ian Wright favours those now.
No, he goes for
he's got zero collar, hasn't he?
He goes for
that is a mandarin. It's a Nehru collar. It's a slight mandarin.
No, a mandarin rises up. It's one of those collars that rises up.
Don't you talk to me about collars.
I'm telling you what a mandarin...
I know what a mandarin collar is.
Hey, guys,
a mandarin collar is one that rises
Yes,
up.
I know what you mean.
Everyone take a breath. Come on.
Okay, yeah,
no, Frank, I know what you mean. We're both talking about the same thing. I'm just saying.
But Ian Wright wears those Bond
goodness.
villain.
Yeah. Yes.
That's his look now, which
I'm
is
so
great.
glad things have calmed down
Yeah, me too.
between you two.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Sorry, I'm just leaking some emails.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, we need to talk about DJD, Dame Judi Dench.
Oh, yeah, Frank's had a previous run-in with her.
Oh, she gave you a stare, didn't she?
Well,
No, Frank, remind us what happened with Dame Judi. You were coming out the Ivy.
she was arriving at the Ivy, which is a sort of a upmarket restaurant. It is an
Everyone
upmarket
knows
sort
what
of
it is.
celeb restaurant in London. which is a large conurbation. in
I
the
was there
southeast of
only
England.
last night.
Were you really?
Well, yeah.
Well,
And other things that won't surprise anybody.
no. Well, I was being photographed outside there by a member of the press, and as she got out of the car, and as she walked in, she looked across at me and said to the person she was with, "I thought this place was for celebrities."
Oh, dear.
So obviously, but I forgive and forget. That's my motto.
Yes, but
How long ago was that?
Al,
that happened?
also,
I was 7. No,
also, look, let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
you have turned into Simon Cowell. Look,
Frank,
I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt.
No, let me explain why.
Go on.
I think it's all in the tone, Frank. She might have said, what if she said this? I thought this place was for celebrities.
Oh, of course. Or
That
maybe
is good.
she thought, I thought this was for celebrities, so I'm surprised that there are people being photographed here.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, there's all
But
sorts of ways.
I heard it. And this is a woman who I really used to fancy when she was a young woman, I
Did
must say.
you?
She was
Lovely
so...
actress.
I love the
Oh,
elf
I'm not
in...
sure. I think
love
she's
the elf
overrated.
in... oh, you think she's overrated?
Yeah.
I think if she's listening to this, she'll be okay with me moaning about her being nasty, but overrated actress, you're finished.
Yeah. I don't suspect she's listening to this. However,
She was... but when she was a young woman...
Well, she was, but she was something of it was a difficult subject to be avoided in our house growing up because my mum used to date her husband, her late husband, Michael Williams, yeah.
Well, my mum didn't go out with anyone who was involved with Dame Judi Dench. I think I can safely say that.
Nor mine. Glad we've cleared
I'm
that
just
up.
trying out some of my relatable material. Text in if one of your parents was involved
No,
with
she was-
Dame Judi Dench's partner.
She was very friendly with a local bloke called Fobby L.
What, your mother?
Not very friendly in that
Oh,
way.
you don't think they had an affair, do you?
Certainly not. They didn't
People
have
didn't
those.
have affairs, did they, in your community?
We were Catholics. We didn't know what affairs were.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
She is capable of surprising, is DJD. She's been in the news this week because at aged 81, she's had her first tattoo. She's got ink. She got Carpe Diem on her wrist.
all Carpe Diem.
That's
Seize the
Latin.
day.
It is Latin, that's
It
correct.
is. For I love fishing.
Can I
That's
be
what
honest?
Carpe Diem
Well,
is.
look, it's a bit... Now, that's what I call Latin, though.
In it.
Well, it is, yeah.
I mean, everyone knows Carpe Diem, except for Adrian Charles, who once asked me what it meant.
We're going to try that. Sarah, Carpe Diem?
Just because she's
Not
got
least
a
because
pink...
she's just heard it.
Just because she's got a pink iPad cover doesn't mean she doesn't know what Carpe Diem means.
To me, if you've got a pink iPad cover, it means exactly that. But obviously,
Well.
I'm wrong. Don't never judge an person by their iPad cover. I think that's the saying, isn't it?
Yeah, but it is now.
Yeah, it's very Dead Poets Society, isn't it?
Innit?
Carpe Diem. Do you remember Robin Williams?
Remember it? One of my favourite films.
It's a lovely film.
Captain, my captain. That's how I think of you, Frank.
But so
nice.
you know,
Have to know my captain.
yeah, but Robin Williams, I would say, popularised in recent times the Carpe Diem. If I was going to go for a Robin Williams phrase tattoo, I think I'd have to go for "Dopey me." But I don't know if you could get the voice.
I've got
into it.
Nanu all down one leg. So
Have you?
I suppose we're all
Have you tried
different,
Germany?
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
What do you think of this? Kim, the lorry driver, says Frank, football is the most boring game on the planet. I mean, I know it's not really a football show, but I just was interested in what your opinion on that was.
Well, I don't share that opinion.
Bought you
but-
some houses.
But we are, we're all different, of course.
Yeah, we're all God's children.
All God's chillin'. That's what they say.
Carpe Diem. That's what I
All
say.
God's chillin', God's soul. Get out.
I'm not sure about Dame Judi Dench getting the tattoo in Latin, though, because I don't think it's like... I don't know why it's
I
more...
call it a latu.
A Latu. Nice. I don't know why it becomes more wise, because it's in a language that she doesn't really use.
Exactly.
Like,
A dead
if I
language.
got...
She's old enough. That's probably her native tongue.
That and
She talks-
Esperanto.
she
That's
talks
how
like-
old she is,
She
Frank.
talks Latin at home.
Well,
if
her
I
daughter...
got,
Sorry, Al.
if I got a bit of wisdom, like, you know, you buy cheap, you buy twice.
Yeah.
If I got that translated into Cornish, a language that I don't speak but exists, and then tattooed on my back, would that make it wise?
Well, you should have it in Glaswegian. That's
I
your
quite like it.
I
mother
do
tongue.
speak. I do know that.
It
yeah.
would make it a bit cooler than you having, if you buy cheap, you buy twice. Especially as it's the very opposite of your worldview.
It is not.
Okay.
I like that sort of thing Duncan Bannatyne would have tattooed.
If I was
Bog off.
80,
He'd have bog off.
if I was 81 and I had a tattoo, I think it would be my name and address. Sort of an aide de memoire.
Nice.
You know, she said it was a gift from her daughter Finty.
Yeah. How do you,
Yeah.
And she said she's wonderful with surprises.
Was she suddenly? She got.
Can't be a surprise.
Did she get home one night? Was suddenly wrestled to the ground by two blokes who got tattooed, like how you do,
Mobile tattoos.
like how they do sheep.
yeah.
I don't know, but that's one of my fantasies.
But
And also,
depends on the tattoo.
if it is
If
a
it's just a
surprise,
number, then I don't want it.
if it is a surprise, does the daughter choose Carpe Diem and where it is? Like, did she pick the wrist? Like,
I don't.
I think Finty's a strong character.
Finty, yeah.
right.
I don't think it could have been.
don't think-
she couldn't have a facial tattoo. Dame
Yeah.
Judi did.
I mean, I can't pick a tattoo for my mum.
She couldn't
can I?
have. I knew a bloke who had death to all skinheads on his forehead.
Right.
That would lose her a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh, skinhead
Was that a
escapes.
gift- Was that a gift from his son?
It was something he was very. He ended up looking after donkeys in a home for a children's home.
I'd have
Don't
no
believe
tontin
that.
homo sharif on my forehead.
That'd be
Good.
lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the
I
joys.
just saw Michael Gove on the telly. I've never had, for years, had the urge to do a dead leg. More. I felt the knee going.
I'm sorry you were bullied. Stop taking it out on us. You weren't in the cool team. It's not our
I
fault.
suppose if you're 81 and you have Carpe Diem on your arm, you're sort of reminding yourself that, you know, there aren't that many days left and to live them all to the full. I consider
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
There was a famous Eastern potentate,
Love that word, Frank.
yes, a leader, and he had a
That's for
bloke,
anyone with a pink iPad out
For the
there.
groundlings listening.
the pink iPad brigade,
Very good use of groundlings by Alan Mouse.
and he used to have a man who was paid that every day he would go up to him and say, "One day you will die." That was his job.
Charming.
Yeah.
Not a bad gig, though, is it? I mean,
No.
it's easy enough.
No.
Fit in some of your own hobbies around that work, couldn't you?
But that was his job, and it just helped him to remember mortality and not to get ideas too, you know. I don't know if you can get ideas above your station if your station is potentate. But anyway, can you imagine when someone comes up to you and says, you know the bloke that says, the day you will die, it's his birthday, do you want to sign a card? Well, I don't know what to put on it. What do you put on it to him? Well, we've already got cheer up 4 times. Can you come up with something different? I don't know. I don't even know him. Anyway.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had this text in. How do you contact the winners of any of your competitions?
I generally use a spiritualist.
It's easier, isn't it? It's easier than a lot
we
of the
ever-
modern devices when there's a patchy signal and that.
We did have a competition once.
It was an absolute disaster, and
was.
I mean that.
That was when we were
In every
broadcasting on
sense of the
Absolute
word.
Disaster, wasn't it? One of our sister stations.
Well, we did a competition. It was football related.
Why are they always sister stations? Sexist.
Someone had obviously thought Frank will be great for this because he's a bit legend, Frankie. Not realising that you do your esoteric material now and you're Frank 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
So
2-0.
Yeah. So we did a football-based
Couldn't
competition.
wear a replica shirt with my throat.
But it all, well, if you did, you'd wear a cravat with it.
You'd have to
But it
chop
all
the
went
neck
wrong.
down a
The
bit.
competition was a disaster. I read it out wrong or something. I think I gave away the answer. It
Oh
was a
dear.
We had 9
This
million
is all-
applications.
This is all BC before Cockerel.
Oh, it was,
but it's-
Sorry,
it
Al.
was very early. We decided that. So
terrible.
we've never done. I don't think we've ever done a competition.
that's very bad manners of us. It's
No, no,
like
it's
going to
totally
see the
fine.
same film twice with
Oh,
two different
orcs.
partners.
Orcs.
Yes. So we don't have any competitions. So if you have won one,
Yes.
Well done.
there's been an
Oh,
administrative.
you think it's a scam?
It's been a bit of a cock-up. So, yes. Dame Judi Dench.
Yes.
Carpe Diem.
She says she learns a new fact every day to keep her mind active.
I like
She
that.
should have them put on her arm.
Yeah.
What fact have you learnt today so far?
Oh.
I don't think I've got today's yet.
Oh, we must have learnt some during the course of the show.
Oh,
You'd
God,
think
give us
I've-
a hospital pass. We've got to think about
I mean,
it.
I've got a few bits of gossip that have happened during the songs, but I don't think I've got any actual facts.
Facts, gossip.
Hearsay, I don't think counts, but that's difficult, I think, because facts change, don't they? Like, if today's fact for Dame Judi Dench was, like, how many penguins there are in the world, by the end of the day, she's going to have to refresh that fact, because there'll be another one born.
So don't have the tattoo done.
Don't have it done, but also, maybe not facts. Just learn a new thing a day.
I like Carpe Diem as a principle, but I feel it's been rather taken over by sort of nightclub owners in Ibiza. And it's just a little bit over-popularised, I think. She should have gone for something, I don't know, a bit more rarefied.
Like YOLO.
No.
Do you think
I've got some ideas if I had a tattoo.
Right.
I'll tell you what I like. Well, there's a few things I like. One is actually from Frank's book. When he wrote his first
Breakfast
autobiography...
Radio, I remember.
No, Frank.
Not one of those
You told a
chapters.
story, and it's always stayed with me, this, about going riding and how you weren't very good at it or something. And the man who was instructing you said, come on, Frank, cowboy up a little.
Yes.
And I like cowboy up a little.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
As a very good... I would have that.
I don't think Dame Judi could have that. I think all these people now were plastered in tattoos. I was watching the Wales game last night. There's the guy who scored the goal for Belgium. Got like, roses coming up his neck.
Yes.
Well, that was like Love Island.
In 10 years' time, they're all going to look back and think, what on earth have I done?
Well, that's the joy for Dame Judi, is that she's getting it at 81, so she's probably thinking, I will have that moment.
Well, she won't. She might be looking back in 10 years' time, God willing. Then again, she'll be thinking, what's that on my arm?
Yeah.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, on the subject of tattoos, I think one of the good things about them is that if you get one that you like, you've paid for it, and then you get to wear it a lot. You know, you've told me in fashion they have a cost per wear analysis.
Correct.
And items that you really like, they get cheaper the more you use them.
Of course. Which
Whereas-
is why jeans, great value.
And if you think about it, tattoos, I mean, it's like, you're wearing them all the time. Like, so if you get them early,
Yes.
they get cheaper and cheaper
but
at the
imagine
longer. Whereas she's got it at 81, it's probably only going to be like £3 per
Come
wear.
on, let's not get dark.
But imagine the clothes that you wore when you were 15. If I said you've got to wear them the rest of your life,
Yeah.
you'd think, oh, but they're going to go out of
They
fashion.
wouldn't fit.
Not in my case, I was beautifully dressed.
I was a late developer, so they wouldn't be fit. They wouldn't fit on me.
All
now.
I wore in those days was a chamois leather posing pouch.
And it's funny how life comes full circle,
It was
isn't it?
warmer.
Thank
It's
God
much
we got
warmer
rid
then.
of that webcam.
That's one of my mottos. Nightmare dressed like a daydream. Thank you, Taylor Swift.
Is it a motto?
Yeah, it's from Taylor Swift. Nightmare dressed like a daydream. Thank you.
It's a
It's,
good one.
it's one of her song lyrics, isn't it?
Yeah.
Taylor Swift there, ladies and gentlemen.
On Absolute Radio.
Yeah.
Never mind Latin.
My favourite motto has always been, you can spend your whole life trying to be popular, but the size of the crowd at your funeral will still be largely dictated by the weather. Good night.
And you got that tattooed across your chest just last week,
I
didn't you?
think that would be
In
fair
English.
enough.
I
yeah.
hope I die in the summer then.
Quite a lot of
I
punctuation.
want a big
on that
turnout.
one.
I like Karl Lagerfeld. Sweatpants are a sign of defeat.
Ah.
Thank you.
That is good. I don't know
I've
what
also
mine is.
like, this is a simple one, but I remember reading this, and it's, even though it was in Niall Quinn's autobiography, where I didn't go
Great
seeking wisdom.
Great source of
He
wisdom.
just
Extraordinary
said,
choice.
he said one thing you have to accept is that nothing in life's 100%. And I thought, it's a very basic point, but actually, very, very good thing. I
I'm
think
not sure. I think I read the opposite of that in a mathematics book about percentages.
But I don't read many mathematics books. I'll stick with Niall Quinn.
David Baddiel said this week the truth is always very complex.
Did he?
That's
I don't agree with that either.
You don't?
No.
Why
It's
not?
absolutely straightforward.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We're discussing mottos, aren't we, this morning?
Actually, we've just had a suggestion. Wouldn't
What about like a Rolling Stone as a
that's
name?
exactly the suggestion I was about to read.
Oh, what, for the band, for the tribute
Isn't that
band?
amazing?
Yeah.
What a jinx. Hi team, wouldn't like a Rolling Stone be a good name for a Rolling Stone tribute band?
Yeah. It
Amazing. Great minds, eh? Did you
Yeah.
text that in, Frank? Is this
I
like
texted
Ronnie
it in
Barker writing
because I
sketches
don't think
under an
I'm-
underplume?
Exactly, I pretended. What was he called? Ronald something.
I've forgotten.
I was going to say Ronald Wycherley, but that was actually the real name of Billy Fury.
What a great fact. You asked me what I'd learned this morning, and that's it.
You've learned something. Hurrah.
And last
Did
week
you-
I learned the name of the band leader on the Titanic. Can you remember who that was?
Hartley Hare.
I think it was Wallace Hartley.
Okay.
But I may be wrong.
Hartley Hare was a character in a kids' TV show who actually had a Birmingham accent.
Oh, it's so lovely that you still remember that. One of yours.
Yesterday, when I was young, so many songs with
Anyway,
Bit of French there.
Yeah,
we're
a
doing
little bit.
mottos this
Mottos,
morning.
yes.
Because Dame Judi Dench had the tattoo Carpe Diem. Paul has tweeted us, when there's always biscuits in the tin, where's the fun in biscuits?
That I like.
I like it. What does it mean exactly? Is that,
I think it's
so
saying
these
that-
pop stars that can have anything they want,
Yeah.
that life becomes empty.
Yeah, I think maybe it's saying that. A little bit of hardship makes you appreciate the good things, like when you've got biscuits in the tin, you remember that you at some
You fill
point
your
didn't
boots
have
too much, it
biscuits
gets
in the tin.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, you
in
don't
those
miss the
boots.
water till the well runs dry.
Also, I believe we've had a bit of backlash thinking that we've
Oh, I haven't
slagged
had a
off
bit of backlash for 2 or 3 weeks.
just with your friends.
Call me, Dave.
Your friends in the community. Apparently people are thinking that we're slagging off tattoos, assuming that you'll regret them, but we're not saying that, I don't think. I
I'm
mean,
assuming most
some of
people
my best
regret.
friends are tattooed, and some of my friends are tattooists.
Some
So
of my
there
best.
we go.
Some of
What
my
have
best
you-
friends.
yeah.
Well, I don't really. Both of them, of my best friends, have many things I'm absolutely sure they'll regret in later life. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean I don't love them.
Gerald Wiley,
Quite.
by the way, was Ronnie
Ronald
Barker's.
Wycherley, you can see where I was coming from.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, though. Who was that from?
Whoever sent in that.
I mean,
is, bang on.
It's probably
Steve-
Ronnie Barker.
David Cox.
under
it was, I
under
think.
a.
Well, Steve Inkman,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think we can get a hint from his name
Yeah,
that he might be a fan of
I
tattoos.
think he might.
He says you shouldn't tar everyone with the same regret it in 10 years' time brush.
No.
Just because some
Well, it's
idiots
very
jump on the
hard.
let's get a tattoo bandwagon do regret it.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is very hard to establish who is correct in the people will regret it in 10 years' time debate, unless we wait. Well, I tell you what, just text back in 10 years' time.
I think you're
Do
right.
you think we'd still have a show then, Frank?
Oh, I should think so.
Oh, I wish we
doubt
did.
I'd have much else.
Are you suggesting on the tattoo conversation we should draw a line under it? Is that what you're
I'm
suggesting?
happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Joke.
Okay.
That's good.
But then another motto, Stone, says find out what you're no good at and don't do it. What do you
Yes.
think of that, Frank?
Yes, I've spent quite a lot of time finding out what I'm no good at. I think that's pretty good. I
And
think
Dave
what is-
Wilkinson says eagles may soar, but weasels don't get sucked into jet engines.
Yeah.
Well, also
Sort of
excellent.
gone a bit Michael Gove.
Thora
Yeah.
Hurd said it's never too late to mend a broken fence. That's in a book.
Did she?
Yeah. Good one, isn't it?
So that towards the end.
Yeah, probably.
She's just saying anything. If it's too late to mend a broken fence, clearly. What about that one of our Keats when he it fell over in the garden? It took so long to mend it that the lawn grew over it and he couldn't pick it up. It had been reclaimed by
That
the
does
earth.
sound like it's too late to mend that broken fence. You're right.
The planet took it. Said, "Oh, I'm keeping this." Wouldn't give our Keith.
Planet.
Wouldn't give our Keith his fence back.
The motive of the planet.
Yeah, you obviously can't look after it, Keith. We're keeping it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Got some more mottos in Frank.
Oh, I'm loving them.
Gary has sent us a message. My motto is don't spend on Friday what you need on Monday. Sorry, don't spend on Friday what you need on Monday.
Yeah.
Gaza.
He'd have been a terrible alcoholic.
Yeah, I mean, that's not how people are living.
I
is
like
it,
Gary's
largely?
life philosophy.
Oh, no, I like it's common sense.
It is.
Yeah,
There's
no
not a lot of it
nonsense.
about, is it? Not a lot of it about. Frank, my favourite quote / motto is from the Van Wilder film, which is, "Don't take life too seriously, you'll never get out alive." Brian from Lincoln.
Wow.
That depends on whether you live to the Judgment Day. In which case you won't
I
have
think we
to...
all
Wow.
lived through it 2 weeks ago, didn't we?
Aye.
You're listening to Absolute Evangelism here.
Yeah, we're on a slightly different tack. We had an email earlier entitled "Learning to Ride a Bike." Dear Alan, Emily and Frank, a few weeks ago Frank mentioned that he hadn't learned to ride a bike until adulthood.
Well, I haven't really learned, to be honest. I can just about get round them. I wouldn't go on the road, I don't want to be too
No,
frightened.
but you can ride forwards and
I can
stop.
ride on-
That's
on-
it, really.
On tarmac, if there's no one else around.
You did a
Yeah.
lovely job the other week.
Well,
Got applause.
he continues, "My wife can't ride a bike and often bears the brunt of cycling jokes. When I mentioned to her that Frank Skinner can do it, so she could too, she replied, 'Yes, but he's a celebrity.' Frank, can you encourage all those adult non-cyclists to give it a try? Especially as the Tour de France starts today. I think that's a bit of accelerated learning to go straight
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
Do it in a private area or a
Thank
park.
you,
I mean, obviously,
Scott.
don't do
that's,
it on
That's
the...
one of my mottos,
Well,
actually.
Yeah. That's it. I like that
Never
one.
done me any harm.
Yes.
Yet.
I would say that a couple of weeks ago, when I hadn't been on a bike because I was too frightened, and I had lessons in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I went on this bike and I went round, and when I started to realise I could do it,
Yeah.
it was a fantastically exhilarating feeling. So I would absolutely...
You've got to
recommend
conquer
it.
this thing. Me
Great.
and
But
the
you have to do it-
horses, Frank. Cowboy up a little.
Yeah, but you have to do it in just your normal street clothes with
Yeah.
a proper old-fashioned bicycle clip.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put on lycra or anything of that nature, otherwise you'll turn into a beast.
And as you pointed out, it actually feels easier the quicker you go. And I said to you,
Again, that's my motto.
drive equals balance, I was told by
Drive
my...
equals balance.
Drive equals balance. My
What about Hitler?
motorcycle instructor told me that if you're going forward, it's easier to stay up.
Yes, that's it. Well, I'm told it's
That's
safer.
right.
Safer to cycle aggressively, I was told.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And one final thought, Frank. I think it was a pig that had the Brummie accent, not Hartley. Just some topical news just in.
Oh, yes, it was the
Free.
pig.
That's from Mark in Wigan. Thank
What was
you.
it called, that programme?
Pipkins.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, that's that. We end on you learn something new every day. I actually just learned something I already knew once and then had forgotten. Anyway, thanks for listening. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.